Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, glad to have you. My name is Ashley and I have been dealing with topical steroid withdrawal, also known as TSW. I am on my second cycle of this condition and boy has it been a journey. Today I want to share with you 5 things that has been helping me as I manage the skin condition, as I cope and as I heal. And I really do hope that this video will help someone who is either going through TSW or know someone who is going through TSW. And if you're not experiencing this condition, it's still a good way for you to be educated or gain some insight and knowledge as to what this condition is, because trust me, you never know. So let's get into today's video. So one of the first things that has helped me in my TSW journey has been fasting and prayer. I don't know if I would have been able to get through this condition if it wasn't for my faith in God. And I say that because this condition is not only physically challenging, but it is also mentally challenging. And I can honestly say that it has been my faith in God, it has been my spiritual life that has allowed me to be able to get through this skin condition. There were moments when I felt completely overwhelmed, and the only thing that would help is me putting on worship music or going into prayer, or just being in the presence of God. And I tell you the honest truth, that has helped me tremendously. One of the things that helps your skin, or your body for that matter, to heal from pretty much anything that you're going through or anything that the body is going through, is fasting. Fasting has been something that I started maybe about 5 years ago, and when I look back at it now, I feel like it was preparing me for this time. Now, I have not, in my opinion, fasted as often as I believe I should be fasting, and I tried a little lightly with it because, or I'm a bit careful about it, simply because with this skin condition, your body does need quite a bit of nutrients to rebuild. So I am careful when it comes to fasting, because I am aware that my skin does need that extra support and that extra push for it to get back to where it needs to be. However, putting your body in that period of rest, whether it is for a day, for 3 days, for 7 days, whatever it is, putting your digestive system in that process of rest allows your body to focus more on healing the cells that are in your body. And I've found that whenever I do fast, that my skin feels and looks a little better than it did before the fast. So I would say that's one of the things that has helped me a whole lot. Fasting also keeps you grounded. It puts you in the presence of God. Mentally, it allows you to be able to be stronger in the situation that you are going through. And I know this is not even just as it relates to TSW, but life in general. So prayer and fasting helps you to go into a frame of mind of being stronger, not just physically but spiritually as well. So the second thing that has helped me on my TSW journey is my diet, a change in my diet. And what that looked like for me was identifying the different foods that I was eating that contributed to any type of flare. So once I figured out the types of food that caused me to itch more, to burn more, or to have that puffy redness in my face, anything that I ate that caused that to be worse, I stayed away from it. Now, food in general for everybody will look different as to how it affects persons, but for me, I've realized that across the board you'll find that persons who are suffering from TSW have a high sensitivity towards gluten. They'll have a high sensitivity towards citrus foods or fruits. They'll also have a high sensitivity to dairy products, processed foods, sugar, and salt. Generally across the board, I found that a lot of persons stated that these things, alcohol as well, that these things cause them to flare more than if they had not consumed them. And for me, the same is true. So I do my best to stay away from those things, which is very hard because I'm the type of person who loves breaded, anything with gluten. I mean that, right? Cheese, butter, creams, ice cream, milk chocolate. Those are the things that I love. And then I have a sweet tooth. So changing my diet by eliminating these foods and increasing the foods that promote that are anti-inflammatory was difficult, has been difficult, but it gets easier. So staying away from foods that cause inflammation and eating more foods that are anti-inflammatory is the best option for us, those of us who are suffering from TSW. Now, one of the things that has helped me recently has been consuming more turmeric and ginger tea combined. So not turmeric and ginger, but turmeric and ginger. That has helped tremendously. And I know that both have anti-inflammatory properties in them, as well as a bunch of other things that aid in not just your digestion, but also in your skin health as well. And so I have been doing my best to consume turmeric and ginger tea pretty often, if not every day, every other day. Aloe vera is also a very good plant to use during TSW, at least for me. What I did, because aloe vera can be bitter in its taste, and so I don't blend it as a juice like people would typically do. What I do is I allow the aloe vera to soak in water, and then I consume the water as my regular water throughout the day. And I do this for maybe about 3 to 5 days for a particular week, and then I do it every now and again after that. It's not something that I do very, very often because aloe vera is a detox. So I don't consume it very, very often, but I try to do that at least once a month to cleanse my system. So aloe vera has helped a whole lot where my TSW journey is concerned as well. Yeah, so food, number 2, definitely food. My diet, it, it it has to be something that you pay attention to, because it will determine how long you stay. It's one of the determining factors of how long you will stay in TSW for, because the more you flare because of food is the less time your body gets to be in that healing stage, because it's constantly having to fight the inflammation. So keeping the inflammation down by paying attention to your diet helps tremendously. Number 3 on my list are supplements. This is very, very important. I didn't realize how important this was until I came into my second flare, or my second cycle. I did not take supplements my first cycle of going through TSW, and it wasn't until my second cycle where somebody mentioned to me if I was taking supplements, and a light bulb went off in my head, and I was like, oh, you know, I should be taking supplements for real. And so I decided to do some research, and I, you know, looked at the different supplements that promote healing for your skin, and I decided to take some of those supplements. So some of the supplements that I have been taking are vitamin D3, vitamin C, zinc. I have also been taking omega-3 fatty acid as well, and I've been taking a NAC 600. Now I cannot pronounce the correct name of the NAC. I'll show what the bottle looks like, but those are the different supplements that I take, and they have helped also in giving my immune system the support that it needs, and also helps to reduce the inflammation in my body, as well as to promote my gut health as well. If you are going through TSW, I do encourage that you do your own research, because there are times when your body possibly is lacking in a particular vitamin as well, or a particular nutrient, and you possibly may need to up that supplement, or up that nutrient by taking a particular supplement. So I would say, if you're not sure about what particular supplements to take, consult with your doctor, get a blood work done if needs be, and see what it is that you may be deficient in, and then take those supplements in order to build your system. As it is right now, those are the supplements that I take. Number 4, I avoided products that were highly scented. It's important that as I go through this skin condition, that I check the label, check the ingredients of whatever it is that I'm putting on my skin. To be fair, right now, what I use is so simple and minimal that I try not to use anything new outside of what I've been using and what has been helping me. So I have not really had a huge problem with scented products, but for persons who are going through TSW, it is important that whatever you bathe with, whatever you wash your clothes with, whatever it is that you're putting on your skin to moisturize your skin, that they are free from certain irritants. For me, I keep it very, very simple. So to bathe with, right now I'm using an emulsifying ointment. I think the brand is MAC, and that has been helping to soothe my skin. And to tell you the honest truth, you will find, as going through this condition, what I have found is that my skin requires different things at different stages. So what I started out using to bathe with, for example, in the beginning stage of my TSW journey, is not what I'm using currently. It's more so because I realized that my skin either couldn't tolerate whatever I was using before, or it's not doing what I think it needs to be doing for my skin anymore. So I had to switch to something else. So in the beginning, I still do use this, but I don't use it as often right now. So in the beginning, I was using I think a flare up body wash from Cetaphil, specifically for eczema skin, and that has helped a whole lot, like hands down. Anything else I switched it to apart from the emulsifying ointment never, like, couldn't do me justice, right? Right now I'm using the emulsifying ointment, but when I tried it in the beginning stage of my TSW, it did not help. A matter of fact, it burned, which it shouldn't burn, but for whatever reason my skin couldn't tolerate it. As I got to the stage where my body is now less sore, less red and more flaky and dusty, I realized that I can use the emulsifying ointment now. And so that is my go-to thing for cleansing my skin. Now, as it relates to what I put on my body for moisture, I have resorted to using coconut oil, cold pressed coconut oil, as well as with a drop of vitamin E oil in there, and I mix that and I use that on different parts of my body. Recently, I have discovered that my face prefers castor oil. So I've been using the castor oil on my face and the coconut oil and vitamin E oil on my body. Now I'm going to, when I get into point 5, I'll explain another situation. However, it's important to avoid lotions and perfumes, deodorant if you can. I have not used deodorant in so long I can't even remember, and I use the coconut oil and the vitamin E oil under my arms and I am good to go. So keep it simple, I would say, when it comes to moisturizing the skin. I know some persons will use jojoba oil, some persons will use Vaseline. I use the Vaseline, still use it from time to time. I've used Cetaphil as well as the Cetaphil cream. I've used that as well. But again, different stages of my TSW called for different moisturizing. And so again, it's important as you go through TSW to listen to your body, because what will work for you again in one stage of TSW may not work for you in another stage of the condition. But avoiding high fragrance products and checking the labels of whatever it is that you're using is very, very important. All right, so we're on number 5. Point number 5 for me, in how I've been dealing with my topical steroid withdrawal, is reducing the moisture. Stay with me here. No, let me say this. For a regular skin, normal skin that is not going through TSW, moisturizing with a good moisturizer is important. Not those sweetie lotion business, but like to properly nourish your skin, moisturizing is important, right? For regular skin. For TSW skin, it's different. And I found this out literally just recently. Throughout my TSW journey, I have made it a point of duty that whenever I felt dry, I would go and rub on Vaseline, rub on the Cetaphil, rub on the Aquaphor to get myself moisturized or keep myself moisturized throughout the day. I didn't realize that this was doing more harm than good. Now, mind you, every time I put on these moisturizers, I would scratch. I would go out I would set aside at least half an hour to be sitting down scratching after I put on these things. But it never occurred to me that I wasn't supposed to be moisturizing, because I know that moisturizing is important for regular skin. So if my skin is this dry, obviously I should be moisturizing. Not so. Now, for TSW skin, because of the damage that has been done to the skin, moisturizing or over moisturizing does more harm than good, because the skin needs to get back to the place where it can produce its own moisture. There's a thick layer of skin that is on our skin. Like, let me not say that's on our skin, but has replaced the skin that we're supposed to have. The normal functioning skin that we're supposed to have is replaced by this damaged, thick, easily torn, thin. Yes, I did say thick and then thin, because that is exactly what it is. Like, I easily can cut myself, but when you look at the texture of my skin, it is very thick. Makes no sense, but anyways. But your skin has to be able to get back to that point of learning how to function properly, to moisturize itself properly. And if you keep putting moisturizer on the skin, it prevents the skin from doing what it is supposed to do. I hope you're still with me. So I've heard a lot of persons talk about no moisture treatment during TSW, and a lot of persons swear by it, like it works wonders for them, right? For me, I decided not to do no moisture treatment simply because whenever I came out of the bath, my skin would get so dry and tight that I was very, very, very uncomfortable. So I couldn't imagine not showering, not putting on any form of moisture, not drinking the amount of water that I was thirsting for. I could not imagine doing that, right? But I did listen to somebody who has gone through TSW and has healed from it, and the way he explained it helped me to realize that I was doing my body more harm than good by putting so much moisturizer on it. So I decided I was still gonna have my bath, and I was still gonna be drinking a whole lot of water, right, to continue to flush my system. But what I decided to do was to limit the amount of moisture I was putting on my body, right? That meant that I was going to, after I showered, the only place that I would put moisture is under my underarms, and that was it. Everywhere else I allowed to remain dry, and my face. So my underarms, and I was doing moisturizing my face as well, because I could not stand the feeling of the dryness on my face. So I did that, and I am so upset with myself that I did not record this. But my skin for the first 2 days was extremely dry. Like, I couldn't do anything. I was just, you know what, let me just lie in bed, because I was so tight. My skin was so tight and stiff and dry and flaking. But I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try this and see if it helps. For the first 2 days, the first 2 days were the most uncomfortable. By the third day, I started to see improvement in my skin tone. The flaking became less. The dryness became a little less. I did not feel like a sandpaper by the third day. And I noticed that I felt a lot better in terms of my level of itching went down. I wasn't scratching as much, still scratching, but not as much. And so I was like, okay, by the 5th day, I was like, I'm going to continue this because my skin, I have not put any moisturizer on my skin, right? And my skin, even though it looks a little white, I don't know if you can see it, it looks slightly white, but my skin tone is not as dark as it was before I decided to not put on the moisturizer. And so I noticed that even the feel of my skin is a lot better. The thickness of my skin has gone down, so it feels more like regular skin now than before. So whenever I shower, I do not put on any moisturizer anymore. Now, the disadvantage to this is that you have to be very careful, because since you're not putting moisturizer on your skin can easily crack. I had a slight crack this morning. I'm not seeing it anymore, so I can't show you guys. I had one somewhere here. I doubt you're going to be able to see it. I had one right here that wouldn't go away, but the skin just cracked, right? And when it cracks, it burns, and it leaves you vulnerable to infection. So if you're not putting on moisturizer, you have to be very, very careful about external irritants. You have to be careful about covering your skin and ensuring that when you do go out, if you have to go out, that you put on your long sleeve and that kind of thing, and you keep the area clean, and you're trying not to scratch it when it cracks, because it does itch when it cracks, right? I use a solution, a sterilizing solution that is safe for skin. Whenever my skin cracks, or if I scratch and it begins to bleed, I spray that on to keep the area clean and free from infection. So that's the only downside to it, is that you have to be more careful with your skin where that is concerned. However, I am so glad I decided to do it, because my skin tone is way better now than it was before. As it relates to my face, I started doing this a week ago on my face, and it was much harder than what I was doing with my body, because my face was so dry and stiff to the point where I could barely open my mouth. Barely. I couldn't laugh. Still, even though it's a little tight, but it's not as tight. But my skin is not as dry as it was a few days ago, and I'll probably do a shorter video just to show the transition, because I did the videos for that, and my face is much better now. My only thing with my face is that I did have to resort using the castor oil on my face. So whereas for my body, I didn't put any moisturizer at all on it, for my face, I had to use castor oil. By midday, I had to use the castor oil on my face to loosen up my face, because whereas my body was flaking, my face was stripping, and the stripping wouldn't come off of my face. Like, I tried exfoliating one day and it just made it worse. But it wouldn't come off of my face. So I decided, by the leading of the Holy Spirit, to use castor oil, anoint my face with castor oil, and allow that to sit and seep into my skin. And once I did that, I realized that every morning I woke up after that, my face felt much, much better. And again, I don't have this ghostly look, as I would call it, in my face anymore. My skin tone to my neck, not the best, but it is much better than it was before, so I can attest to that. One of the other things is reducing your stress levels as well. Stress can cause you to flare. Stress can cause you to go into another cycle. And so as somebody who is dealing with TSW, I have to keep my stress level on a low. If I begin to get anxious or worried or stressed out about anything, my itch level increases. My itch scratch cycle increases. And so I have to ensure that I keep myself in a calm state as much as possible. I want to say this, and I'm probably going back to the beginning, but going through TSW has caused me to lean into my faith more. It has caused me to lean on God a whole lot more. And because this condition is not something that a whole lot of people are dealing with, it's not something that the medical community is familiar with, it makes it difficult to know how to treat or how to get to healing, right? And what I have been doing, I can only say that it has been by the leading of the Holy Spirit. Fasting, praying, taking supplements, avoiding certain foods, all of that, I can attribute that to the leading of the Holy Spirit. Because as I said before, this condition is different for everybody that goes through it, right? So it is important that you listen to your body and you know what it is that is best for you. And that's what I've been doing. The only way I've been able to get through this is by listening to my body, by listening to the voice of the Holy Spirit to say, okay, this is what is triggering you. Pay attention to this more. So for me, this journey has been difficult, but by the grace of God, I have been able to go through it without getting an infection, without any excessive or any additional situation arising because of it. I've just been able to go through it and to just do what is best. And it comes with a lot of trial and error, a whole lot of trial and error. But if you listen to your body and you listen to the voice of God, ask Him to tell you, what can I do? What should I be doing? What should I not be doing as I go through this? Trust me, He will answer you in one way, shape, or form. He will answer you. But we have to be in that place to be able to listen. So, yeah, I think that is all that I have for you today. Those are my 5 things that has helped me tremendously as I go through this journey. If there's anybody out there that's listening to me that is going through TSW, just know that healing is possible. Healing is possible. It will get better. Even if it doesn't look like that today, it will get better. I promise you, it will get better. So, if you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share with a friend. Share with somebody who you think this would benefit. If you stayed with me to the end, thank you so much. Thank you for staying with me and my rambling. But anyways, until next time, see you and take care. Bye.